When least expected, today, yet another wrinkle has unfolded in the ongoing legislative nightmare over the battle of gay marriage here at the Boston State House, where the news of this liberal agenda first came to the attention of the entire nation a year ago. Let's hear what both sides of the equation had to say as the announcement was released by Chris Minu from the Massachusetts Family Association.
Tell me what happened here today and what your impression is of the outcome.
Well, today, as you know, we announced the formation of a ballot question committee and that we will begin a citizens initiative petition this fall to get a clean amendment that clearly defines marriage between one man and one woman to the people to vote on.
Is there anything that you would like your Christian viewers to understand about how they might further the success of this action today?
I believe that the prayers of faithful people and the civic involvement of faithful people of faith, is bearing fruit. And we look forward. This is just the beginning of a 3-year race, and we're just out of the chalks, but I believe it will get done.
And you have a website and a phone number for contact?
Yes, we do. The name of the ballot question committee is voteonmarriage.org, and that is the website. It's up and running, and it has comprehensive information.
Now, are you going to put this
What are you going to be doing to defeat this? They have a lot of national groups on their side, don't they?
I think it's significant that without the national groups, they would probably be nowhere. That so many national groups are coming into Massachusetts to try and tell Massachusetts what to do. People in Massachusetts don't historically like that. So that will help us. The Bible Belt. This isn't the area where Matthew Shepard was murdered. We have our own problems here, but it's not as bad as that. So they know they have to frame and package their message differently. They pulled it and they brilliantly realized that the best argument for them would be this so-called democracy argument. But there's a fundamental flaw to the democracy argument. This country was founded on the premise that the tyranny of the majority should never be allowed to take away the rights of the minority.
Not exactly so, Miss Isaacson. The majority you refer to that our founding fathers sought to overthrow were those enforcing the tyranny of a monarchy where the people had no vote on taxation. A far cry from immoral liberal judges creating protection for sexual perversion which our forefathers abhorred. Thomas Jefferson wrote that he worried about the judicial branch corrupting the very liberty they were designed to defend, becoming like monarchs. The Puritans believed that conjugal love should be demonstrated through conjugal union, by which husband and wife became one flesh, as written in their writings of that time. The Sodomy Acts made the crime of sodomy a capital offense in England. The laws of colonial New England, that were based on those of England, stated that sodomy and bestiality were capital crimes. The capital laws of the Connecticut colony testified to that fact. The laws of Connecticut were taken directly from the book of Leviticus in the Bible. The only difference was that it made exceptions for rape and child molestation. 30 years before the Connecticut laws were passed, Massachusetts Bay completed the body of laws and liberties in 1641, which named 12 capital crimes, including sodomy and bestiality. Rhode Island followed suit by proclaiming in its 1647 charter. First of sodomy, which is forbidden by this present assembly throughout the whole colony, and by sundry statutes of England, Henry VIII, VI, and V, Elizabeth, it is a vile affection, whereby men given up thereto leave the natural use of a woman, and burn in their lust one toward another, and so men with men, which that work is unseemly, as the doctor of the Gentiles in his letter to the Romans once spake. The penalty concluded by that state, under whose authority we are, is felony of death without remedy. Now, no one in modern times is advocating capital punishment for the lifestyle of homosexuality. But as Miss Isaacson continues in her attack on those who are defending traditional marriage, she mentions the murder of people in the South, a barbarian act outside of the hands of the law. But as you can see, it was the feeling of the early founding fathers that sodomy was a crime, a capital crime, punishable in their day. They most certainly would never have advocated the use of judicial systems or legislative systems which they designed to protect acts of perversion. And so it is a very twisted our founding fathers would have defended a minority practicing a lifestyle of homosexuality, when in fact all of their writings and their consistent behavior enforced by the laws they made were exactly the opposite.
This country was founded on the premise that even the people you don't like deserve legal protections, even if you don't want them to have them. And this country was founded on the notion that that the courts make decisions about what is and isn't constitutional. So when they scream and yell about the courts being active, the fact of the matter is the court did their job. They did exactly what they're paid to do. They made a determination whether something was constitutional or not. And in this country, if you look at the history of major advances in civil rights movements, they've almost always happened at the court level because elected officials were unwilling or unable to do them. And so when blacks and whites were prohibited from marrying for years in this state and other states and across the country, it took the courts to overturn it. And it wasn't until 1948 that it happened for the first time in California. They said interracial marriage bans are illegal. And it took 20 years before it made it to the Supreme Court. And again, it passed, but it took 20 years. The fact that in California, when the interracial marriage ban was overruled by the court, it was done by a one-vote margin, that they would spend so much of their time, energy, and money dedicated to ruining ours and trying to take ours away. There are times when I just want to say to them, get a life. Can't you do something like help the poor and the needy or work on the important issues in this state? We've had the right now to marry for over a year. Western civilization as they know it has not been torn asunder, nor will it be over the next 3 years when we have yet more people getting married. So we're surprised that they're giving up. Strategically, we're shocked that they're giving up on their chance to repeal our right to marry in '06 because they had a very good chance of doing that and pulling it off. And the fact that they won't even agree to allow us civil unions, I think speaks volumes about what their true intent is, what their true feelings are about gay people, despite all their protestations to the contrary.